My best friend died and I went from being child-free to having a teenager. I had posted a few times before on Reddit about my fiancé and I, about my not wanting kids, our engagement, the love we have for each other. For the most part, my posts have had happy endings, but this one just isn't a really happy one. Soon after my engagement, my best friend, since elementary school, and his wife passed away in a car accident, leaving behind their 11-year-old daughter, Amy, not real name. Amy is my goddaughter, but we do refer to each other as niece and tia. I've been there for her whole life and she has always been one of my favorite people, and still is. It's been a really hard several months since the accident and everyone is having a tough time. I have spent most of my life with my best friend in it than without him. Our parents are best friends, due to us being friends at first. I refer to his mom as Mama, his last name, and Dad as Papa, his last name, and he did the same with my parents. My siblings were his siblings, he was an only child. We went to events/concerts together a lot, so multiple times since he passed, I've subconsciously bought him a ticket, forgetting that he wouldn't be able to use it. I introduced him to his wife in high school. We were the only two openly nerdy cheerleaders at our school. They got pregnant young, and I was there to help, and I even went so far as to stop eating food she couldn't eat because I could tell being pregnant was not fun for her. I was at the hospital because she was scared and asked me to be close by. I was the first non-blood family member to see Amy. I say all this because him and his family are indeed my family. So them passing was a huge hit for everyone, especially for Amy. Now the month when it happened, Amy went to stay with her grandparents. Luckily we all stay in the same big city, so the farthest any one of the family is from the other is an hour at most, and that's mainly due to traffic. The issue though is that her grandparents are much older, 70s, compared to my parents, 50s, so while they do very much love her, they are already at that point where they themselves need help. Plus they just lost their only son and daughter-in-law. Amy's mom's parents are out of state and they also didn't believe moving her to them and away from everyone she knows was the right thing either. Her grandparents overall didn't think Amy staying with them was the best for her, and they relayed that to my parents, who then mentioned this to me. So after talking to my fiancé about it as well as talking about it in therapy, which included me, my fiancé, and both our therapists, we came to the conclusion that we would be happy to take her in since we are financially capable, have the space, and we do also just love her so much. Before the accident, she was realistically at our house at least 3 times a week. She is the reason why I even have an art room, since it was an activity we always did together. Even at 11 she's a fantastic artist. When we approached her grandparents, they were completely on board with the idea, and I do think that a part of them had hoped we would take her without them asking us directly, hence the comment to my parents. However, when we had broached the idea to Amy, she was hesitant. It turns out that she is aware that I never wanted kids and is afraid that I will hate her for having to raise her. It 100% broke my heart that she felt that way, and I tried everything to convince her that was wrong. In the end, I told her the truth. I will never be able to replace her mom or her dad, and I have no plans to. Her parents made me her godmother because they knew that I would love and care for Amy the way they loved and cared for her. I could never hate her. My fiancé even pointed out that I was the one who had the idea to foster her. But I also had to stress to her that this is a new situation for all of us. We are all grieving together and we are all jumping into this new living situation together. So there will be mistakes, but there will also be a lot of love. We also put her in therapy, which she has been very hesitant about, but after finding out that my fiancé and I are both regularly in therapy, she felt a lot more comfortable. My fiancé has been great through all this and my absolute rock. He was also very close to my best friend. My best friend was going to be his groomsman and was the second person my fiancé asked after he asked his brother to be the best man. My best friend was the type of person who will see something and say this looks like something so and so would like, so I'm going to buy it for them. So some days I will catch my fiancé staring at one of those many gifts for a long time. Or he will say something like, I hope they both knew how much I love them. We hold each other tighter now when we hug and kiss longer than before. When I asked about Amy living with us, my fiancé was shocked and wasn't sure how he felt since change was happening lightning fast with the engagement, then the accident, and now with Amy. So I didn't bring it up again until he did a week later with I thought about it and I think it would be good for all of us, but let's get our therapists together to make sure we aren't jumping the gun because we love her. Amy moved in right after Thanksgiving. All the families got together for the holidays with her to remind her that she is never alone. She has her mom's family, out of state but they call often, her dad's family, my fiancé's family, out of the country too minus my fiancé's brother plus his wife, and let's not forget all our friends and their families. There was a lot of crying but a lot of laughing too. Her living with us is a huge adjustment but nothing we can't handle. She has always been a sweet girl and very bubbly and loud. Since the accident, she obviously has been a lot more withdrawn and quiet. But I am seeing sparks of herself come back briefly and slowly. We had to switch her therapist a few times, but this current one is definitely helping a lot. Amy really likes her too. Her grades did slip a bit. But my fiancé has made it a point to do homework with her every day, and it made her cry the first few times he did it. He asked her if she wanted him to stop, but it turns out that it just reminded her of her dad, so it really meant a lot that her Tio was so willing to help her too. I was expecting some rebelling, but that hasn't happened, yet lol. Actually, she has been doing the absolute most. She would clean up after us before we had a chance to do it ourselves or try to do things for us that seemed a little out of character. After some prodding, it turns out it was because she is afraid we would get rid of her if she upset us or did something wrong. We have stressed that in no way has that even crossed our minds. We are here for her, and, unless she wants nothing to do with us, we will continue to be here for her through the good and bad. But let me tell you, I cried so much that night, feeling terrible that she felt that way. I want her to know that our love is unconditional. And it always has been. We are also in the process of setting up a trust for her. Her parents left behind money, and there is money coming in from their insurance policies too, so all that is going in that trust for her. I will also help supplement this trust, plus my fiancé, even though I stress that he doesn't need to. Neither myself or my fiancé will touch this trust. When she turns 18, she will have access to use the money for college if she decides to go, and a set amount will be available every month to live on. If she decides not to go, then she will still have access to a set amount every month. Side note, we would prefer she go to college and will encourage it, but her dad didn't go to college and did well as an artist, and we see that she has his talents, so we just want to be supportive of any decision she makes. When she turns 21, she will have access to the full trust to use as she wishes, but we will do our best to ensure she is responsible with it when the time comes. At the end of the day, she will be an adult, and we have to trust she will be responsible when she has access to the money. I also want to say we didn't come to this decision on our own. We consulted with all 4 sets of grandparents, and this was what we all thought was the best approach, as well as help from a lawyer. When Amy is a little older, we will discuss this with her, but for now she's still so young and dealing with a lot. Some nights I sleep with her in bed, with my fiancé sleeping on the floor by the bed, because she cries herself to sleep and she feels so alone. I don't know if that feeling will go away anytime soon. I think about how I'm in my 30s and I still can't imagine not having my parents. So I really have no idea what she is feeling. Best I can hope for is that I can help the pain just a little bit. Amy's mom was going to be my bridesmaid, and I was going to have Amy be the flower girl, but I think I'm going to ask Amy if she would prefer to be my bridesmaid. Amy looks so much like both her parents, and I see so much of their personalities in her. A part of me feels like having her up there with me will make me feel like her parents are up there with me too. And I never once imagined getting married without either of them by my side. All planning stopped the moment of the accident for that reason, and even now typing this has me crying that they won't actually be there. But also that's a lot of pressure to put on Amy. I don't want to tell her all that. I do want to give her the option to be my bridesmaid if she wants, and if she doesn't want to, then that's also okay, because she is still going to be part of my wedding. I won't even bring this up for a while because I still am not in the headspace to plan the wedding right now. There is no real reason why I'm posting this. I tried a couple times to write out what happened, but each time I broke down or deleted it. I think I just want to vent or just feel better. Maybe to get validation that we are doing the right thing and not messing Amy up. One step at a time, I guess. Edit, I'm seriously overwhelmed by all the comments. I was trying to respond to every single one, but now I'm falling behind because there are so many lol. If I don't respond to your comment, still know that I really appreciate your support / love / kind words. I wish I could hug every single one of you. I don't know what I was looking for posting here, but I feel immensely grateful I did, because you have all shown me so much love and support. I'm just a crying mess, but just know it's definitely happy tears, because I now feel like I am doing the right thing for Amy. Thank you all so much. Update, 5 months later. It's been a while, and people keep reaching out to check in, which I sincerely appreciate, so an update might be warranted. It won't be exciting at all lol. Just where we are all at right now. Side note, I wasn't sure if I gave my fiancé a name in my previous posts, but I will refer to him as David moving forward. And my best friend's name moving forward is Leo. First, I want to thank this community for the kind words of encouragement and concern for Amy. It's heartwarming, to say the very least, to receive such support from strangers. There were so many comments that I got very overwhelmed and stopped responding, but I read every single one, and even if I didn't respond, I truly appreciate every single one of you. I just get really shy after a certain point, even though this is all anonymous lol. Second, a lot of people were really focused on the trust. I commented on my previous post about it, so I'll add it here. Trust me, We are aware that 21 is still mentally really young. We consulted with all the grandparents regarding the trust and most of them wanted to give her a lump sum at 18. The compromise was that the lump sum would be given at 21 with her having a sort of allowance from 18 to 21. I will also have her set up with our lawyer and financial advisor when she turns 18, plus myself plus fiancé will always do our best to guide her. But she will be an adult at that point, so all we can do is give her all the tools to help make the best decisions for herself when the time comes. We can always change the rules of the trust if need be, but that is something that will be decided as a family. Right now, we are happy with where we landed. Now on to the update. David is my husband now. One night, we were talking and we just didn't feel comfortable having the wedding this year, but we also didn't want to wait to be married. Life is short. So we went to the courthouse with Amy to make it official. We will be having the wedding next year to make it official lol. We are all still in therapy, both individual and family. We are also in a support group for children who have lost parents and Amy seems to be doing really well in. Amy is now 12. It was her first birthday without her parents, so I wish I could say it was an extremely happy occasion. This year has been a lot of firsts without them and we will continue to have a lot of firsts without them. But she swears that despite crying a lot of the day, understandably, she wouldn't have been able to plan the day better herself. So a bittersweet success. Special mention, Amy has a best friend of 5/6 years, Monica, who I've known since she was 7. Monica is lovely. She's a bit sarcastic, which I find hilarious, and is a kind soul. According to Amy, she tried to distance herself from Monica because she felt like she was too sad to be around and didn't want to be a burden. Monica bussed herself over to our house and basically told Amy to knock it out and that she decides when Amy is too much, which will apparently never happen because Amy is her favorite person. I was always team Monica, but that day solidified the fact that I would ride at dawn for her. We ended up getting Amy 2 rabbits as well. Why rabbits, you ask? Well, her parents' nickname for her was Bunny, and we were already planning on getting some kind of animal companion, so we landed on bunnies. Plus, our state has an overwhelming number of rabbits, and most get euthanized due to overpopulation, so they need all the love they can get. Why 2? Bunnies are social creatures and are happiest being raised with another rabbit. Amy is obsessed with paint and chalk, haha. After showing her the ropes and doing her own research, she has completely taken over any and all care for them, despite us offering several times. She even has a space in the fridge labeled buns for the fresh greens that she cuts up every morning to give them. She decorated an area in her room for them cause they will be in her room at night, but they are allowed to venture around the house during the day, after we spent a full day bunny proofing. Amy's been very happy with them. And Paint even sleeps on the bed with her now, with Chalk only sometimes sleeping with her. It also means we are no longer sleeping in her room with her, and only a handful of times has she crawled into bed with us, like on Mother's Day and Father's Day. We are leaving for a trip to Europe/Asia next week. David and I love to travel, but I actually start to get irritable when I don't travel for a while. David jokes that I always need my fix lol. It's a 3-week trip starting in Poland to spend time with David's family for a week and then to Asia from there. The plan was for Amy to be with us for the full 3 weeks, but she really pushed back, and we were confused about that. She only wants to go for the first week in Poland to meet David's family. Side note, his family adore her and has planned a "you're stuck with us forever" party for her. Whenever we asked about the rest of the trip, she said she didn't want to go and that we should go without her. If she didn't want to do something, we get it and don't want to force her. Understanding the why was tough for me. Does she not like traveling? No, she enjoys it. Is she afraid? No, she likes flying and thinks it's cool to see new places. Is it too much time away from home? No, she's cool with long trips. So why doesn't she want to go? She just doesn't. In family therapy, the trip came up. Finally, her reason for not wanting to join us on the rest of the trip came up. She feels like David and I are prioritizing her too much and taking her feelings into account more than we should. She feels like we aren't prioritizing our relationship or even our other friends/family. She feels like she's preventing us from doing stuff because we keep thinking about her first. I want to make this very clear. While David and I are prioritizing her more and 100% take her feelings into account when we plan things, we still very much prioritize each other. We have a date night every week. If we do cancel, we make up for it. Our date nights did stop for a few months after Amy moved in with us, but that was just because we needed to adjust. She spends the night at Monica's every week, and that's usually when we do date night, and we do the same for Monica's mom every week. We also go to the gym together every morning. I'm not a morning person, but I am for David, and we communicate throughout the day. But she made a very good point about our friends and other family. It's been hard to balance a kid in the mix, and we have been a little neglectful. Sure, our closest friends/family usually just come over to our house and aren't shy about being themselves around Amy, but there are events that we have missed by prioritizing Amy. I'm not saying that we made the wrong choice, but she highlighted that we need to start taking care of our other relationships now that she feels safer with us. Amy really is the greatest kid. Even though it hasn't been a full year since they have passed, she has changed so much. I wish she didn't have to grow up as fast as she did, and I hope we can preserve some of her childhood, but I know her parents would be so proud of her. I'm so damn proud of her. We tell her all the time, but I really don't think she grasps just how proud we all are of her. Anyways, haha, we still stressed we would love to have her on the trip with us, but she said we should have that time for ourselves. So we decided to leave this trip as is. My parents will come with us for that first week in Poland, and they will fly back home with Amy, with her floating between all the grandparents while David and I are traveling. We will video call her every day to check in. We are already making more of an effort with our friends and family. Amy is also spending more nights with her many grandparents, which she has been loving, because I'm really lucky that I have 4 nanas and 4 papas. David is absolutely killing the parent role too. He has been more hands-on with Amy's schooling. He's the one who has been handling teacher/school stuff and pickups. I do drop-offs. He has the contact information and has made better connections with the other parents of all the kids in her class, plus all her friends' parents. He's been joking about joining the school's version of the PTA, but I don't think he's joking, lol. He's definitely the extrovert of the two of us, so it isn't surprising. I could probably go on for pages and pages about David just being the absolute best, but I already feel like this update is super long, haha. I don't know how I would have done any of this without his love and support. While neither one of us is perfect, we are perfect for each other. It's honestly crazy to me that I can still love him more and more each day. Like, how is that actually even physically possible to love someone this much? Is this even healthy? I digress, lol. I think I'm doing okay. Just like Amy is dealing with a lot of firsts without her parents, so am I. At first I didn't think it was fair for me to even grieve, since Amy's situation is just on a whole other level than my own. But my therapist had to remind me not to compare my grief with hers because it is just different. I sometimes imagine what my conversation with Leo would have been like if I told him I'm adopting this 11-12-year-old girl because her parents were my closest friends. He always understood why I didn't want kids, and he was so supportive about it when others disregarded my feelings. I wonder if he would have talked me out of it, or if he would have encouraged me to do it. He 100% would have been part of the village of people supporting me whether he agreed with my decision or not. I just wish I knew what his thoughts would be about this woo-ool thing. Sigh. I miss them both so damn much. But I'm also really lucky to have David and Amy. I don't know who said it, but they said it best: if you want the rainbow, you gotta put up with the rain.